Today is Earth Day, and governments across the world are making moves to highlight the importance of investing in our planet. More than 240 cities in Canada are taking part in Earth Day activities this year, which is double the number from last year. However, a lot of attention is being given to what we can do on the land, which is why this Earth Day, we wanted to shed light on a recent report that looked at oceans and coral reefs. This report by the Vibrant Oceans Initiative, which included research from an international team of environmental scientists, indicates that urgent action is required, or almost all of Earth's coral reefs will be dead in 30 years. But how would the death of these coral reefs impact people, industry, and the environment? Well, joining us now to give us more insight into coral reefs and the important roles that they play is Dr. Julia Baum, professor at the University of Victoria, an expert in marine ecology, coral reefs, and conservation. Dr. Baum, welcome to Forum Daily.
Thanks so much for having me.
Now, ma'am, what would you say are the main takeaways from this new report?
The new report is really highlighting the fact that coral reefs are incredibly vulnerable, particularly to climate change. We know that more conservation for them is needed. And so in this particular report, they're really highlighting the fact that we need more coral reef sanctuaries and we need more sustainable financing to protect coral reefs. So it's not simply enough to identify where these sanctuaries should be. They also then need to be properly managed and enforced. And so that long-term sustainable financing informed by the best climate science is really needed as well.
And what would be the main causes behind the deaths of these coral reefs?
Right now, it's climate change, without a doubt. So coral reefs are the most vulnerable marine ecosystems to climate change. And we've had a lot of marine heat waves recently. So I'm in British Columbia, and out here, of course, we had the heat dome on land last year. So we all got a feel for what that's like when temperatures are above what's comfortable for us. That also happens in the ocean. And when it happens on coral reefs, they're really vulnerable to tiny changes in the temperature of the environment around them. It causes coral bleaching and then can pretty rapidly cause the corals to die. And so we've seen global coral bleaching events all happening around the planet where corals are bleaching on reefs everywhere and dying. And the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, is predicting that those will continue to increase as we move forward, which is why urgent action is needed.
And bringing this back to our Canadian viewers, how do coral reefs help humans, and why should people care about coral reefs in particular?
Well, I would say that coral reefs are arguably the most beautiful ecosystems that we have on the entire planet. They're akin to rainforests, but underwater. And underwater, they are like cities teeming with life. They have tens of thousands of species, so extraordinarily beautiful. Of course, in Canada, we probably only see coral reefs on the television if we're watching a documentary, or perhaps if we're lucky enough to, go on holiday somewhere and maybe snorkel or dive. But for hundreds of millions of people around the world, coral reefs are incredibly important for them. Reef fisheries are providing the primary source of protein for hundreds of millions of people, and 500 million people on the planet rely on coral reefs either directly for food or indirectly for their livelihoods through tourism, for example.
All right, ma'am, just over a minute left here, but what sort of solutions should we take away from researchers in this report?
Right. So in this report, they're advocating for a number of things. More marine protected areas to directly protect coral reefs. As I said, financing to actually help manage those. But also mitigating local stressors. So it's not just climate change that's impacting coral reefs. We know that there are a lot of other things that people do on land, from coastal development and all of the pollution that entails, to overfishing, and that causes coral diseases as well. So there's all sorts of local pressures. So they talk as well about the importance of alleviating some of those local pressures and hopefully ensuring that the reefs have a little bit more resilience to the climate change that they do face.
All right, Dr. Baum, just about 45 seconds here. But bringing this back to Canada, we know we share coasts with the Pacific Ocean, with the Atlantic Ocean. So are there any vulnerable marine ecosystems for Canadians to consider this Earth Day?
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, we're a coastal country. We have the world's longest coastline. And here in Canada, we have gorgeous, lush kelp forests, which are like underwater forests. And they're actually the most vulnerable temperate marine ecosystems. And we know that we've been losing a lot of kelp forests to marine heat waves as well. So increasing protection for them in Canada is also of paramount importance.
All right, Dr. Julia Baum from the University of Victoria, thank you again for joining us today on Forum Daily.
Thanks for having me.